guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, November 1st, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. I have a lot of interesting topics to talk to you about today, and I'm going to give you updates on all the people that tried to scam me last Monday. Hopefully most of you guys watched the video I put out Monday where 3 people tried to scam me in one day. Well, guess what happened? Add plus 2. 5 in one day. I've been an eBay seller for 25 years, and I've never seen anything like this in my life. Never once. I was always proud to say that I never once received an item back that was not the exact item that I sent to the customer. I know a lot of you have. I know I've seen people on Facebook saying it, but I was lucky that it never happened to me. Well, if you watch my video Monday night, you know it happened to me. I'm going to give you an update on the 3 cases I presented Monday and 2 new ones that came in subsequently. And I think you're going to be very interested. eBay also released its winter seller newsletter the other day. I hope you guys had a chance to check it out. There wasn't a lot of earth-shattering news in there. They did tout what I'm going to refer to as seller protections. And I want to devote most of this video to talking about seller protections, or in some cases, the lack thereof. And in that case, I'm going to have to go away and do at least one cutaway. I want to make it clear from the very beginning of the video that I am not telling any of you to stop selling on eBay, to pack up your tents and go home. No, just the opposite. What I am saying is you can still be successful on eBay, but be prepared for trouble. Okay? Be prepared to run into some sketchy people, because it seems to be well known among the sketchy community that you can get away with anything you want as an eBay buyer and nothing will be done. Sad to say, that is the truth. I don't say this lightly. I will be showing you things as the video goes on to help you understand why I feel this way. To get back to selling on eBay, I still recommend it highly. It's the best place to sell your stuff, but I'm the kind of person that likes to show you trouble when things happen that shouldn't happen, so that you, as the informed eBay seller, know what to do if this happens to you. I've been doing this for over 15 years, and I sure hope that I've made your time selling on eBay happier and more informative. So that being said, let's get right into all the topics. I have a nice note here that I jotted down some things I want to remember to tell you guys, and I'm going to start off by telling you all the scammer updates. There are 5 of them. Okay, to start off with, you may remember I briefly mentioned in passing, after I talked about the 3 scammers on Monday's video, I briefly talked about an older guy in his mid-70s who contacted me on Sunday, to complain that an item didn't fit his car and blaming me, cute Joey, for the fact it didn't fit his car. Well, I have been coming out here a lot recently saying I'm having problems with these older people. And most of you guys do understand it, all right? A few don't like hearing it. Well, that's too bad. You're going to hear it, and you're going to hear it again now. But if it happens with a younger person, and I do have one example here where the person was only 50 years old, I'll mention their age too. Fair is fair, okay? But with me, it's happening predominantly with the older people. And when I tell you what happened with this particular deal, if you don't agree with me, please tell me. But it's ironclad. So as I said, I sold 2 Lincoln center caps for alloy wheels, dirt cheap, a week or two ago. And if you've been following my videos, Lincolns are the worst to deal with because they make so many different alloy wheels per car, and so many people don't know what they're doing and return these things to me. It's to the point now I am done, absolutely done, stocking most Lincoln center caps on eBay. I'm only listing a few that are very, very unique and year-oriented so nobody can make a mistake. But anyway, I sold these 2 dog center caps for $22.50. It's the kind of thing, no matter what they would have offered me, I would have taken it because I was glad to see them go. They never sell. So as I said, this guy bought the wrong ones. In spite of the fact that I have all the information in the listing, contacts me on Sunday, which kind of irritated me. It's my 1 day a week off. He could have opened a return for any reason, even not as described, but no. So what do you think he did? He called me up one night at 6:30 p.m. while I was eating. Of all the nerve, of all the freaking nerve, he called me up to start complaining about these 2 center caps. Before I go any further, we're going to do a cutaway. I want you to see the listing. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through every nuance. And then we'll come back and wrap up that first case. Okay guys, please pay attention to the screen so I can lay the foundation for this ridiculous return. I recently sold these 2 center caps dirt cheap. They did not go for $25. They went for $22.50, I believe was the price. Now, look on the left side, you'll see I have a picture of this wheel and this wheel. Those are the only 2 wheels in the world that these caps will fit. I clearly say that in the listing, okay, right here. These center caps were used specifically on some 95 to 02 Lincoln Town Car models with alloy wheels as seen in pictures 2 and 3. These are factory original parts and will only fit the wheel described. You cannot make these fit anything but the specific wheel that it was designed for. Okay? I also set it up here. I have the part number. I have everything you'd want to know in the listing. Now, the person buys these, and what happens? This is the person I told you emailed me last Sunday, complaining and blaming me for sending them the wrong item. But all I did was send them the item that they purchased, okay? That's all I did. I didn't send them the wrong item, so I ignored it. I totally ignored it. They had the audacity to call me on the phone. Can you believe this? They called me on the phone when I was eating Wednesday at approximately 6:30 p.m. I was absolutely shocked and appalled that they would have balls of steel to interrupt my supper to start complaining. As I said previously, the man who purchased them was approximately 75 years old, and that's how old he was, so I'm not holding back on ages. Too bad if you don't like it. All right? He was 75 with a real thick southern accent, and he starts right in blaming me. In the background, there's a woman who at first I thought was his wife, but it turned out to be his daughter. I guess she was in her mid-40s. And the both of them are screaming at me, this and that, how I'm no good. And I'm pissed off, not that they're stupid and bought the wrong thing, but I'm pissed off that they're calling me and taking the transaction off eBay because I sense there's going to be a very big problem. And there certainly was. The first thing I wanted to ascertain was what wheel they had on their car. So I had them send me a picture of the wheel, and I'm going to show that to you now. Take a look. You can see it is not the wheel in the 2 pictures on the left. This is the upgraded, top-of-the-line, chrome Cartier wheel. These center caps are unbelievably expensive. And the fact that somebody thought they were getting 2 of these for $22 makes me sick. It makes me sick that someone could be that ignorant. Now, to back up my claim, I'm going to show you what they're going for on eBay right now, and you're not going to believe it. Here is someone that has a set of 4 new all stock ones for $650, okay? Now, is that kind of high? Yeah, it is. I could understand maybe $100 each, but I'm just showing you this listing to give you an idea. There's another seller that's selling these for $70 each with a crack right through the middle of them, okay? The point I'm trying to make is, if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. You cannot get those chrome caps 2 for $22.50. It's not going to happen any day of the week. And I explained that to the person. I even sent them a link to the listing I just showed you to show them how much they go for and what they really need. But these people were adamant. They continued threatening me in the background, and as we were talking, they left me a negative feedback right in the middle of the discussion. I'm not kidding. And I said to the old man, who had no idea that his daughter even left me the negative, I said, why would she leave me a negative when we're discussing the situation right now? And he had me on the speakerphone, and I could hear her clearly say, don't worry about the negative feedback. I know how to revise it. I do this all the time. I'm leaving you a negative feedback to make sure you give me my full money back and original shipping. This is very important. This is why I'm telling you guys, never engage with people from eBay on the phone. Do not engage with eBay buyers on the phone. No good can come of it. Let's get back to the video. Now, I don't want to spend all night on this one particular case, but what really upsets me about this, to really encapsulate everything, it's like the example of the Rolex watch versus the Timex watch that I talk about. A guy would list a cheap Timex watch, and a customer would think it's a Rolex for $20. It doesn't happen, all right? And I specifically asked the gentleman how he thought he was getting caps that are over $100 each, 2 for $22. And he said, his exact words, I thought I was getting a special deal. Not happening, okay? Not happening. All he had to do was open a return request and everything would have been taken care of. But I was really shocked by his daughter's voice in the background because they had it on speakerphone. I clearly heard her say to me, don't worry about the negative feedback. I know how to revise it. I've done this many times. I'm really good at it. That shows that buyers know how to manipulate the system. And for $22.50, for Christ's sake, this is what I mentioned last week. Almost all my returns are cheap. And somebody mentioned the fact that they think people are doing it because they figure it's easy for them to go after the low-hanging fruit and that eBay will not investigate the cheap claims. And I do understand your point there. But think of how many of these are happening on a daily basis on eBay. It's only a matter of time before eBay is going to raise rates for the sellers, not for these scammer buyers. All right, next case. This one really made me chuckle. If you guys don't laugh at the end of this, it's great. I told you the story the other day about the guy who lived in Puerto Rico who purchased a set of locks from me. I waited a while, boxed them up, waited a little more. Then I took a walk down to the post office and I shipped them and everything was fine. Several hours later, he contacts me and says, cancel the order, I don't need them. This is after they were scanned in at the post office. All right? I said to him, too bad, they've already been shipped. He left me reverse positive feedback because since it was the same day, he can't leave me negative feedback. He has to wait a week. But he was so mad at me, he left me a positive that said, do not buy from this seller. You're wasting your time. He's no good. This kind of thing. I called concierge. They removed the comment, but they left the green dot up. The green dot was still up. Very shortly thereafter, the same scammer opens an item not received case the same day that I shipped the items out. The same day he bought them, he's opening an item not received case. This is a fallacy on the part of eBay. They should close up this loophole. They should make all buyers wait until after the estimated delivery date. Okay, but he didn't. He opened the case, and a couple of days go by, and it shows it was delivered to his residence. So the case was closed in cute Joey's favor. All right? Win one for the good guys. eBay then took away the green dot that he had left, because that's something they always do. They automatically remove feedback when the case is found in our favor, and I'm fine with that. No problem there. But I'm wondering now what this guy's going to do next. The level of stupidity is just mind-boggling. All he had to do was wait till he got the items, send them back. He could have even lied and said, not as described. Or he could have told the truth, even though I believe that's very foreign to him. And he would have at least gotten all his money back on the item. But now he's lost it all because he's a major dickhead. Too bad being him. Okay, next one. The guy that broke my key. You may remember I sold the key. Brand new. The buyer obviously doesn't know what he's doing. Broke it. I think he was probably trying to use this on a lock other than it was designed for. And he took pictures in the return saying, I broke the key. I'm returning it for a refund. And you can clearly see it is broken in the pictures. And he's admitting he broke it. I haven't gotten it back yet, but I'm not sure what to do when I get this one back. Do you think I should call concierge and say, look, he's admitting he broke the thing. Why do I have to give him a refund? I think that the most they're going to let me deduct is half. But if anybody has any suggestions on that, I'd like to hear them. I haven't gotten it back yet. The next one was the guy with the Toyota cap who purchased it. He lived in Orlando, Florida, waited till the 29th day, opened a return, and sent me back a cap from another seller, which I documented on the video Monday. But there's one thing I didn't notice, and I noticed it after I put up the video, and I'm going to show you right now. I send all my stuff out in boxes, and I received the item back in this cheapy bag. So right away I knew there was going to be a problem. This is highly unusual that I get it back in a cheapy bag like this. And I noticed the label was kind of loose, so I peeled it off, and underneath the label that was addressed to me is the original label from the other eBay wheel seller to this scammer. Now, I crossed out his exact address, but you can clearly see it says Orlando, Florida, all right, and there's the wheel company he bought it from. The guy actually, the scammer, actually had the audacity to ship me back the other guy's item in the same package the other guy shipped it, right over, sticker on top of sticker. Now, if this kind of stuff happened to you guys, you'd be pissed off too. And the last one was the Toyota emblem, the grill emblem, that was sold as is with blemishes, cracks, and everything. I haven't got that back yet, but I did call up concierge to complain about that guy, and they said to me, listen, we can't do a thing about it. They said, you're telling the truth, You described it perfectly. You did nothing wrong. The only thing we can do is when you get the item back and it shows delivered to you, give us a call, and at that time we will see if we can give you a courtesy refund. Keep in mind, the item was $10.80 plus shipping. What is the world coming to? I mean, really, what did he think he was getting for $10.80? I showed you the screenshots where it said blemished, no attachment pins on the back, sold in the for parts only category. Guys, I'm telling you something. And this is crazy New York driver talking. It's like a war zone. As a 25-year eBay seller, I've never seen it this bad. There are some items, like I said earlier, I will no longer list on eBay because people are just falsely claiming item not as described, and there are no checks and balances. There have never been checks and balances. Can any one of you tell me right now, right this second, ever remembering a point where a person could claim an item not as described case on eBay and where you, the seller, were allowed to appeal it? There's no way. There's no button to appeal it. We're all cast off like the sodomites. And I think it's sad. And it's getting worse because now the word is out. You can do it with impunity. So I spoke to the eBay customer service rep, and he said to me I should click the report a buyer button. I said, buddy, I've been doing that for years and nothing ever happens. And he's trying to tell me that he's seen cases where people were taken off the platform for doing it and abusing the system. And I said, listen, you can see I've been on eBay for 25 years. I've reported many people. I've never seen a person taken off yet. And I'm willing to say that on camera. I've never seen a person taken off for filing false item not as described cases. As I said earlier, how long can eBay continue to give these courtesy refunds to both buyers and sellers? Like the case I talked about earlier, where that clown from Orlando, Florida, sent me back someone else's item. I got my money, and he was given a refund as well. And it's coming out of eBay's pocket. How long can this continue? I don't know. I don't know. Yet, I know people in other categories that have almost no problems whatsoever. Sneakers, collectibles, toys, those kinds of things. You guys got it made because you're dealing with people who have the smarts, they got the cash, they look at the item, they read, they know what they're getting. eBay Motors, we get all the desperate people. Desperate. And they don't know what they're doing. They don't know their own car. I showed you a picture of the chrome wheel earlier in the cutaway that the buyer actually had. And I tried to impress upon him on the phone that just because it's the same diameter doesn't mean it's going to fit the wheel. He was screaming at me like you wouldn't believe, because none of them understand, all right? That's one thing, I'm going to say it on camera, most older people don't understand this stuff, okay? And it's the truth. When I was a kid, and I do mean a teenager, I was trying to explain to an adult about bolt patterns on wheels. For instance, Chrysler has a bolt pattern, GM has a bolt pattern, etc., etc. And this particular person could not understand why a 15-inch Chrysler 5-lug wheel would not fit a 15-inch GM 5-lug wheel. I said they're different bolt patterns, and he couldn't get it in his head. I understand. Not everybody's good at everything. There's a lot of things I'm not good at, and I will not foray into those fields. But lately, guys, it's been really tough for poor Joey in eBay Motors. Now, on the bright side, let's talk about some positive things now. I've seen quite a few commercials for eBay Motors on TV. I was watching something the other night. It was either John Wick or it might have been one of the Halloween movies. I mean, it is the season, right? I was watching one of them, and there it was, an eBay Motors commercial. But they're still pushing that guaranteed fitment. That is the downfall of eBay Motors. I've had less returns back in the old days, before they started this guaranteed fitment program. Less returns than I do now with the guaranteed fitment program. The concept is good, the idea is good, but it wasn't written correctly, and it didn't take into account all the nuances of the various cars on the road. Like the cutaway I just showed you, the guy had a 99 Lincoln. And because the title said it would fit 99 Lincoln, he didn't understand how all the wheels on the 99 Lincoln are different. And I was talking till I was blue in the face and hoarse, and I could not get my point across. So that, my friends, is the situation there. One thing I did want to touch on very briefly were the ages of the people that tried to scam me. I mentioned some of them last week, but since some of them were younger, not really young, but young as far as my customers are concerned, the guy with the Lincoln who had the audacity to call me was the oldest of the bunch, mid-70s. Then the guy who tried to cancel the locks from Puerto Rico, he was young. He was only 50. The guy that broke the key was 57. The guy that did the false return from Florida was 54. And the guy with the Toyota emblem, I couldn't find anything on that guy. He's a mystery man. So I got no information on him. But anyway, guys, someone mentioned it in the comments last week. Do I ever get anybody under 35? Probably not. But then again, I wouldn't know, to be honest with you, unless they cause me any kind of grief. I don't check the age of every single buyer. The perfect buyer buys my item, and whether he leaves feedback or not, that's up to him. I don't care. But as long as he doesn't cause me any problems with either false cases, negative feedback left falsely, false returns, I never have any reason to check their ages. I only check the ages of people causing a problem, and that's why I'm reporting just those people. But if I ever come across someone 20 or 30, which I doubt I will, that causes me a problem, you can be sure I will man up and I'll report that. I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave your comments, questions, and concerns below on any of the topics. I'm especially interested in the way it seems to be getting out of hand with people in these false returns. It's just sick. And there's no way to combat them. They should really have some kind of system in place. All right? Some kind of system to arbitrate the false item not as described cases. Because I can prove my point like I did with the Lincoln cutaway. It only fits these two wheels. It doesn't fit the other wheel. I would be winning all my cases and I'd be saving so much money. But maybe that's why there is no system in place like that. I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you make a lot of sales on eBay this week. Rock on and peace.